sharing the big excitement of it all, the revitalization of Bennett College for Women. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome America's sister president, Dr. Janetta B. Cole, and America's best beloved best friend, Miss Oprah Winfrey, and America's poet laureate, Dr. Angelou. At this time, we bring you Dr. Affleck to the stage.
Good evening, and welcome to the Benefit Gala in support of the Revitalizing Bennett campaign featuring the incomparable Miss Oprah Winfrey. Yes. Not long ago, after Miss Winfrey visited a school in Durban, South Africa, the students and teachers painted a large sign and attached it to a pole. It read, "Oprah, thank you for changing us." After your visit to Bennett's campus earlier today, our faculty, staff, and students, and especially our students, will likewise be forever changed. Somehow, thank you seems inadequate, but please know you have our deepest appreciation for the 2 hours you spent with us on our campus. Thank you so much. There is a traditional Bennett blessing that was often read at Sunday Vesper services. We don't do that anymore, but these services were held on a regular basis, and this special greeting, the last line of this blessing, comes from Psalms 115, verse 12. It reads, "The Lord has been mindful of us. He will bless us." Or as Dr. Cole is fond of saying, "The good Lord, she will bless us." Either way you look at it, Bennett College for Women has indeed been blessed. We have been blessed with exceptional, visionary, and effective leadership in the person of our president, Dr. Janetta B. Cole. We are blessed, thank you, yes, of course. We are blessed with outstanding trustees, many of whom are with us today. Will our trustees please all just stand where you are? Just stand so you can be recognized. Thank you. Indeed, we owe this day in no small measure to our most celebrated trustee, the internationally esteemed Dr. Maya Angelou. And tonight we are again reminded of how blessed and highly favored we are by the presence here tonight of so many friends, alumni, and supporters. We cannot personally welcome or recognize all of our special guests who are here tonight, but I would like to, at the risk of leaving someone out, and it'll happen, but I must acknowledge a couple of people and then recognize our gold, silver, and bronze sponsors. First, I want to thank all of our elected officials here tonight, too numerous to mention, but we thank you indeed for coming. In particular, however, I must acknowledge our congressman, the gentleman who represents the 12th District of North Carolina and the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, Congressman Mel Watt. Are you here? Where are you, Congressman? Here he is, right over here. Thank you, sir. And his wife. And his wife. Thank you. I must also acknowledge our representative, who's a faculty member at Bennett College. Where is Dr. Alma Adams? Dr. Adams. Bennett College, as you may know, is a UNCF institution, which means that we get significant support annually from the United Negro College Fund, and the president of UNCF, Dr. Michael Lomax, is with us tonight. Dr. Lomax, thank you, sir. Bennett College is also a United Methodist affiliated institution, and from the United Methodist Church, I believe we have Angela Current-Felder here. I don't know if there are others. Angela, are you here? Yes, right there. Thank you. Thank you. I also should acknowledge very quickly, I believe Judge Maybelline is here, and I know I was on the phone with her folk. A legend, Shirley Caesar, was coming. Is Shirley Caesar here with us yet? Not yet, but she was on her way. But thank you all. Thank those for your support and your attendance. And now very quickly, I'd like to thank our sponsors. Our gold sponsors are American Legacy Foundation. American Legacy Foundation, first gold sponsor. Please stand. Our second gold sponsor is Food Lion LLC. Where is Food Lion? Thank you. CEO of Food Lion, Rick Anicetti, is also on our board of trustees, and not only did they write a check for a table, he sent his 2 top lieutenants, his COO and his CFO to the campus to assist us, Carol and Kathy, and we appreciate your help. Thank you very much. And our third gold sponsor with that wonderful ad in our program book, PricewaterhouseCoopers. Where are you? Thank you. Thank you. Love that ad. Now I'd like to read the names of our VIP gala sponsors, and hold your applause until I read those names so we can move through with the program. Thank you very much. Our VIP gala sponsors are Bennett Vineyards, Dudley Products, FHALD, which is a company owned by our trustee Cynthia Hardy, Novartis Pharmaceuticals, and Steve and Joy Shavitz. Will you all please stand so we can thank you? Where are you? Here, okay. Thank you. Our bronze sponsors, I'll read those names, and please stand as I read your name, and then we will applaud you collectively. Our bronze sponsors, the North Carolina Institute of Minority Economic Development, special thanks to alumna Andrea Harris, Women Friends of Bennett College, thanks Lisa, James, and our alumna Joyce Garrett, and Dr. Robin Sanders and friends. And Wanda's telling me I left out our silver sponsors, just skipped over the group. That's why you have to have good people. Our silver sponsors. American Express, Citigroup, please stand when I call your name. American Express, Citigroup, Eastman Kodak Company, HSBC, remain standing, JP Morgan, Merrill Lynch, Wachovia, Susie Powell, Greg Barmore, and Diversity, Inc. Please thank all of these sponsors. An event of this magnitude takes a lot of planning and a lot of work, as you might imagine. We were aided mightily in this effort by a steering committee and nearly 50 volunteers. Let me especially thank the co-chairs of the steering committee, and please stand when I call your name. Mr. Walker Sanders, president of the Greater Greensboro Foundation. Where are you, Walker? Thank you. Friend of the college and businesswoman Dr. Eunice Dudley, and I don't think she was able to make it tonight. She had a personal family situation. And our dear sister Susie Powell. Where are you, Susie? Former trustee, alumna. And the final co-chair of the steering committee is the irrepressible Michelle Githers-Clark of American Express. Thank you, Michelle. Yes. A special word of thanks to the staff at Harpo Productions, Michelle McIntyre and Lisa Halliday. It was a pleasure to work with you and a joy. We had this big event on campus and this event, and they made both happen, so thank you very much. Yes. I told the staff on campus earlier today that the sacrifice I made for Bennett College is I went to Chicago to the Oprah show and met the folk in person just for the college. It was cold, dangerous city, but I did it, and it was wonderful. And I'm told that Shirley Caesar just arrived. Okay. Now, I told her folk I was hoping she'd sing a song. Now, I don't know if they told her. We'll see what happens. Okay. Others help behind the scenes. I'm almost done. Others help behind the scenes. Thank you, Mr. Bob Brown, who takes my calls and always gives good advice. Where's Mr. Brown? Thank you, sir. Miss Betty Burdett, Miss Gail King, and Trustee Luke Visconti, thank you for all your help in all of these events. To the Grandover staff, Christina York, Timothy Simmons, and the rest of your team, you are the best at what you do. And to my colleagues on the senior staff at Bennett College, our Executive Vice President, Dr. Claudette Williams, and to the other Vice Presidents, Jim Washburn, Emily Mobley, and our Acting Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Hammond, thank you so much for all of your help and support. Lastly, to the staff and institutional advancement, Angie, Dorothy, Yolanda, Ulisa, thanks for pitching in and going above and beyond the call of duty. Audrey Franklin, our National Alumni President, believe it or not, was there with us every day. Audrey Franklin, helping. We have a great relationship with our alumni. My Associate Vice President, Danny Gatling, did everything we asked of him, did it well, and did it with a smile. Thank you, Danny. Where are you? Danny Gatling is over here in the corner. Every team, however, has a guiding force, a central figure who makes things happen on the ground every day. In athletics, they call that person an MVP, most valuable player. Well, our most valuable person in terms of this event is our Bennett alumna, who serves as my executive assistant, the lovely and talented Miss Wanda Mobley. We couldn't have done this without you. Where's Wanda? Please stand. Yes. Thank you. I must also thank, for the time I was away from home, my wife of 16 years. I hope we keep going. Diane Affleck, for her input and support. Diane, thank you. Appreciate it. Now, I want to conclude my remarks with a word about the reason we're here tonight. First of all, our students at Table 13, please stand. Sherelle Barber, Jonette Reed, India Moss, Amika Smith, and Carla Stevenson. Where are you? Please stand. Where are you? Over here. This is why we do what we do. Thank you. We seek at Bennett College for Women to leave a legacy to generations yet unborn, and thus hold the way open for other young women who may need and seek a welcoming college that promotes academic excellence, intellectual honesty, sisterhood, purposeful public service, and responsible civic action. Your presence here tonight ensures that we will indeed be able to hold Bennett's doors open for many, many, many years to come. Thank you and welcome. And now, I have the pleasure to introduce to the podium our extraordinary accompanist, Dr. Stephanie Lawrence White, who will introduce the choir and will introduce the number they will do. Where is Dr. White? She's on her way. While she is coming, I noticed Dr. Nito Quabain, president of High Point University. Please stand, sir. Nito Quabain, president of High Point University. Thank you, sir. Glad to have you.
Good evening. I am Stephanie Lawrence White, Assistant Professor of Music at Bennett College for Women. And on behalf of the Bennett College faculty and staff, we welcome you and thank you for your presence here this evening and the support that you have shown to both our college and its students. At this time, I would like to introduce our college choir, which has had the opportunity to perform extensively, as recently toured in support of the victims affected by Hurricane Katrina. I would also like to present our guest conductor, Dorothea Taylor, who is a Bennett College alumna from the class of 1999. I will now ask the choir to come forward. We will perform an arrangement of Holy this evening, which I hope you will enjoy. Thank you.
Let's give them another round of applause. The Bennett College Choir. Outstanding young ladies. We went on tour last season to New Orleans to give the gift of music to the folks suffering from the flood, and they were so well received and did such a great job representing us and to bringing hope to those good people. So they do a great job for this college. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce someone who continues to make an impact on this institution. We have, since Dr. Cole has been president, increased enrollment significantly. We've beautified our campus. We've brought in more revenue. Our faculty are doing an outstanding job. All of this success doesn't happen without great support from your board. The person who's been chairman of the board, working side by side with this president to make all of this progress real, is our chairman of the Board of Trustees, and I ask her to come to the podium now, the Honorable Yvonne Johnson, class of '64.
It gives me great joy to welcome all of you to the Bennett College Gala in support of the Revitalizing Bennett campaign. Warm, warm greetings from the Board of Trustees, from the Mayor of the City of Greensboro, from all of the members of the City Council, and from all of our citizens of this great city called Greensboro. The Bennett family expresses its deep and sincere thanks for the tremendous support that you have given this gala. Your support reminds us of the significance of Dr. Martin Luther King's remark during a speech about 50 years ago at Bennett College when he was talking about the civil rights struggle. And he said, "We have come a long way. And at Bennett, we have come from a period of darkness to the dawn of a new day, a new era for Bennett College for Women." At this time of dawning, it is appropriate that our featured guest is Ms. Oprah Winfrey. Ms. Winfrey has been a champion for the creation of educational opportunities for women and girls and the empowerment of women all over the world. On December 6, 2002, at the groundbreaking of the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls in South Africa, Ms. Winfrey stated, I won't be able to say it as well as she, but I will try. "Education is the way to move mountains, to build bridges, to change the world. Education is the path to the future. I believe that education is indeed freedom." She said the school would teach girls to be the best human beings they can ever be. It will train them to become decision makers and leaders. That mission is similar to the one established for Bennett College years ago by President then David Dallas Jones. We at Bennett are thankful for our featured guest and just so grateful she agreed to help this college we love in the Revitalizing campaign. In the words of Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, she said, "Mrs. Winfrey reminds us that we who flourish in freedom have a moral responsibility to help others who have the desire to succeed but just need an opportunity." She concluded her comments by saying that Ms. Winfrey is a woman of moral character and a source of strength for millions. And that time, Condoleezza was right on target. We thank you, Ms. Oprah Winfrey, for all that you do to make this world a better place for all of us. And we thank all of you for being here this evening. God bless you and be with you always.
We now have a special treat. You know, I'm the Chief Advancement Officer. My job is to ask folk to support the college and do things. And I sat next to Shirley Caesar and I asked her to sing a song. And she said, and I had to go check with the president and Miss Winfrey and Dr. Angelo, and they said, yeah, we'd love to hear a song. And so she's gonna sing from one of the wireless mics. Would that be better, or would you like to come up? Oh, come on, please. Well, please join me in welcoming to the stage the great legend, Shirley Caesar.
Thank you so much. I'd like to say just before I shall try to sing a song after these young people. Didn't we enjoy them? I'm certainly grateful, and I'm highly favored to be here tonight. And I'm so glad that we found out about it. And I want to honor this great woman who's doing such a marvelous job here on this campus, the Dr. Janetta B. Cole. To Maya Angelou, and to a very special lady that made my life so meaningful last year. I had the privilege to be one of the legends. Amen, amen, amen. And she just made my life so special. Thank you. One of the movie stars, the night of the ball, kissed me on my hand. Which one is that when he has his own airfield? What's his name? John Travolta. Woo! Yes, sir. I said, you want to do this one too? But it was just so special. I had the privilege to meet Usher. I said, did your mama really name you that? Usher. I had the privilege to talk and to pray with and to just fellowship with the young lady, Michael Jackson's youngest sister. Help me out. I just had a birthday last Friday, so. It was just wonderful. It was just wonderful. Just wonderful the whole weekend. I wish we could do that again. It was awesome. It was awesome. I want to say, to add to what Oprah has said concerning education, I believe that Jesus plus education equals success. Let me share a song with you. I hope that they have the track. So I came ready, just in case. I hope they have the track. And for my husband, Bishop Williams. Why should I feel discouraged? Tell me why should the shadows fall? Why should my heart feel lonely? Then I long for heaven and home. When I've got Jesus and He is my portion, and a constant friend is He. For His eye is on the sparrow, yeah. And I know He's watching over me. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He's watching over me. Can you turn the track up just a smidgen? I sing because I'm happy. sing because God has made me free. Can I get a witness? Oh, his eye is on the sparrow, yes. And I know, yes I do, he's watching over me. And you, yes he is. And I know, he's watching over me. Whenever I lay down at night, I don't have to worry about anything because I know that the eyes of God are watching. I sing because I'm happy. Can I get a witness? Oh, I sing because He made me free. Yes. Oh, His eye is on the sparrow everywhere I go. I know he's watching me. I know he's watching me. I know he's watching me. I know he's watching. Yes, he is. Yes, sir. He's watching over me in the midnight hour. Yes, he is. And I know he's watching over me.
Boy, Dr. Cole, we don't have a plate to pass, but if we did, now would be the time. Now would be the time. But if you are so inspired, no, I have the happy privilege now to introduce someone who is special to us. Dr. Cole, the 14th president of Bennett College, is well known to this audience. She has had a distinguished career as a college and university professor, administrator that spans over 37 years. From Spelman to Bennett College for Women, she has offered her special brand of leadership that inspires and leads to measurable positive results. She has all of the requisite academic credentials, including a PhD from Northwestern University. Sister President, as she is affectionately known, is an active participant in numerous community and civic organizations. She serves on a number of very significant corporate boards. In 2004, she became the first African American to serve as chair of the board of the United Way of America. Beyond the 50-plus honorary degrees and awards, you should know that Dr. Cole actively teaches and mentors students and young professionals at Bennett College and around this country. While she has had enormous success in her professional life, she considers her 3 sons her best work. Dr. Cole is a proud grandmother to a baby girl, and she is engaged to be married to a wonderful man. The tall, dark, and handsome J.D. Staten. Stand up, J.D. Stand up, J.D. Yes. Yes. Lastly, she told me to keep it short. it would not be polite of me to give you the number, but yesterday was Dr. Cole's birthday. Happy birthday. 39, 41, I'm not sure. I won't. We were too busy to celebrate, but Dr. Cole, we will. We will. We're celebrating. There you go. We're celebrating. Dr. Angela said we are celebrating. Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the stage our Sister President, Dr. Janetta B. Cole.
My Bennett sisters, my sisters and my brothers all, good evening. How in the world do I introduce God's precious and powerful child, Dr. Maya Angelou? It's such a privilege to do this. It's an honor. And I must use one of Dr. Maya's own words, one of her signature words. This is a joy. Here in the great state of North Carolina that she calls home, and throughout the world where Dr. Maya is at home, she is acknowledged, she's praised, she's honored for her remarkable work as an author, a poet, a historian, a professor, a songwriter, a playwright, a dancer, a stage and screen producer, performer, singer, and civil rights activist. I find it amazing that one person could participate in each of these 12 endeavors, but it is absolutely breathtaking to realize that Dr. Maya doesn't just participate in anything. She excels in each and everything that she does, including being one of the best cooks in the whole wide world. Of the many and splendid roles that Dr. Angelou executes with complete care and as close to perfection as you're gonna get, the one I'm in most awe over is Dr. Maya as the teacher. Yes, she is a holder of a Reynolds chair at Wake Forest University. Yes, she is a scholar and an intellectual extraordinaire. But I'm telling you, Dr. Maya Angelou is a teacher. Whether it's in the passages of her many, 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 many published works, or in a conversation that one is privileged to have with her, or in the way she lives her life, Dr. Angelou teaches. And the lessons are lessons that each of us needs to learn and relearn. Dr. Maya teaches the value of all of the arts, the importance of forgiveness, the centrality of family in living a good life. Dr. Maya teaches what it means to call for, Sister Shirley, to call for and receive that old-time religion. Dr. Maya teaches the joy in being a woman. She teaches how much it matters to have a friend and to be a friend. The responsibility to be outraged by injustice anywhere. Dr. Maya teaches us how to open our hearts and our minds to all of the good Lord's people. For in the diverse ways in which we appear and believe and speak and couple and move, Dr. Maya tells us how wonderful we are. We thank you, Dr. Maya, for being our teacher. We also thank you for serving as a member of the Board of Trustees of Bennett College for Women. And we surely thank you for all that you have done to help to bring your daughter, sister, friend, Oprah Winfrey, to Bennett College for Women. Dr. Angelo.
In direct relation to the heroes and sheroes they have. Always and in all ways. Each one of us is a hero, shero. Each one of us has the possibility of being a rainbow in somebody's cloud. The phrase was first suggested by a statement in Genesis. Rain had persisted so unrelentingly that people thought it would never cease. So God, in an attempt to put the people at ease, put a rainbow in the sky. That's in Genesis. We know that suns and rains and moons and stars and comets and novae, all sorts of enlightenments, are in the stars, in the firmament. But clouds can so lower and lower that the viewer cannot see the light. In the 19th century, some African-American poet, lyricist, probably a woman, I'm not sure. Thank you. Can you put it closer to me? I said, God put the rainbow in the clouds, which means in the worst of times, there's a possibility of seeing hope. Janetta Cole has been a rainbow in Bennett's cloud. It is my gratefulness, my attitude of gratitude, which makes me humble before her. I'm grateful that she dared. She walked into Bennett and saw some, this is Holmes time stuff. She walked into Bennett and saw some mattresses. And she said, no black woman, no white woman, no Spanish speaking, no Native American, no Asian woman, no woman will put her body on this. She said, take them out and burn them if I have to buy them myself. It's fabulous to be in the company of rainbows. I know that Shirley Caesar is a rainbow in the cloud. I could, if I didn't know that we have an early evening, I could take each one of us from Minnie Irvin to Burdett. I could take any woman here and most men. I could take Thelma Watts. each one of us, I look at Virginia Newell, has been a rainbow in the clouds. So when we address each other as rainbows in the clouds, Levi, then we bring with us what is called common courtesy. Alas, it is very uncommon. But if we see each other, Dr. Affleck, as rainbows in the clouds, we bring peace. We're not just peacemakers, we bring it with us. Oprah Winfrey is a rainbow in the clouds. For some 20 years, she has been a daughter to me, a friend, a sister, and a rainbow in my cloud. I told her last night, I am loved and respected around the world, and I'm grateful for it. I am known more because of Oprah. That's the truth of it. All those years ago, I did a little piece in Roots, and I had about 7 or 8 national bestsellers and international bestsellers, and people who saw me on television in Roots said, "Why haven't you acted more? What do you do?" So people stopped me all over the world. "Senora, Madame, s'il vous plaît, please tell Oprah hello." I introduce this rainbow by reading to you a poem I wrote for her 50th birthday. On the day of your birth, the Creator filled countless storehouses and stockings with rich ointments, luscious tapestries, and antique coins of incredible value, jewels worthy of a queen's dowry. They were set aside for your use alone. Armed only with faith and hope, without knowing of the wealth which awaited you, you broke through dense walls of poverty and racism and loosed the chains of ignorance which threatened to cripple you, so that you could walk, a free woman, into a world which needed you. My wish for you is that you continue. Continue to be who and how you are, to astonish a cruel world with your acts of kindness. Continue to allow humor to lighten the burden of your tender heart. Continue in a society dark with cruelty to let the people hear the grandeur of God in the peals of your laughter. Continue to let your eloquence elevate the people to heights they had only imagined. Continue to remind the people that each is as good as the other, and that no one is beneath nor above you. Continue to remember your own young years and look with favor upon the lost and the least and the lonely. Continue to put the mantle of your protection around the bodies of the young and defenseless. Continue to take the hands of the despised and the diseased and walk proudly with them in the high street. Someone might see you and be encouraged to do likewise. Continue to plant a public kiss of concern on the cheeks of the sick, of the aged, the infirm, and count that as a natural action to be expected. Continue to let gratitude be the pillow upon which you kneel to say your nightly prayer. Continue to let faith be the bridge you build to overcome evil and to welcome good. Continue to ignore no vision which comes to enlarge your range and to increase your spirit. Continue to dare to love deeply and risk everything for the good thing. Continue to float happily in the sea of infinite substance, which set aside riches for you before you had a name. Continue, my darling daughter. Continue, and by doing so, you and your work here at Bennett and all over the world will be able to continue eternally. Continue.
How do you introduce a living legend? Perhaps by telling another legend. And so I am going to remind you that there's a story we all know about the rainbow. The legend tells us that there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Well, once upon a time, a little girl child was born in Mississippi, and being the smart little girl that she was, she knew about the legend, and she decided to follow the rainbow that she saw over her head. Now, I'm not going to tell you that she found a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I'm going to tell you that she discovered a secret. The secret was that the pot was empty. And she discovered that the rainbow actually ended not in the pot, but in her heart. And that was her treasure. Since this was so, there was no limit to this treasure, and she could share it with the whole world and not run out. And so she started spreading that treasure all over the world, and the rest, as they say, is history. Or at a women's college, we say, her story. Oprah Winfrey's rainbow journey, yes, began in Mississippi. After being sent to live in Milwaukee, where she somehow found the strength to overcome the most brutal and horrific experience a human being can know, sexual molestation. She went on to one of our historically black colleges or universities, Tennessee State University. Her rise to media fame began at WVOL Radio in Nashville, and she has gone on from there to be named one of the 100 most influential people in the world in this century. Since Oprah Winfrey is now a living legend, she has found what we all search for, the treasure at the end of the rainbow. In discovering the secret that the rainbow's gift is in our own hearts, she has embarked upon a journey of giving. She began by first creating a deep connection with people around the world, enlightening and uplifting millions of viewers through now the famous talk show. As if the Oprah Winfrey talk show were not enough, our sister then began, oh. And today around the world, we women folk await each issue so that we can get just a little bit more about how to live our best life. Now, isn't that enough to accomplish in a lifetime? Not if you're Oprah Winfrey. And so, through Harpo Film, she has made available to millions the startling but uplifting messages in such works as The Color Purple and Beloved. With her Oprah Winfrey Foundation and the Angel Network, our sister continues the odyssey of her life, encouraging others to make a substantial difference in the lives of others. Oprah Winfrey encourages each of us to embark upon our own rainbow journey. From the Dr. Phil Show to the Oxygen Network to the new channel XM Satellite Radio, Oprah and Friends. From the rebuilding of houses in Sri Lanka and New Orleans to the support of Chicago Public Schools and the United Negro College Fund, she continues to follow instructions. The instructions are, do for others. It's just the rent you pay for living on this earth. Deeply committed to unleashing the power of education, the Oprah Winfrey Foundation has now founded the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls in South Africa. This place of learning and hope and transformation for the girl child will open in January of 2007. In the way that she lives her own life, our sister Oprah tells us what awaits each of us at the end of the rainbow. It's far more than a pot of gold. It is the priceless joy of being of service to others, of giving generously of whatever one is fortunate to have. Oh, my sisters and my brothers, tonight, how thrilled, how blessed we are to hear now from a living rainbow legend, a living treasure, Miss Oprah Winfrey.
Well now, what a time. Thank you all, thank you. What a time. This has been a great day because my intention in coming here, first of all, let me say to Dr. Cole, thank you for inviting me to be a part of the revitalization of Bennett and allowing me to use myself here today. I had originally only wanted to come to speak to the students of this college because I feel that as an African American woman, I have a lot to share with other women who've come from where I've come from. But when I heard that you wanted to have a fundraiser, I said I will use myself for that also, to share this time with you. So thank you, Dr. Cole and Dr. Fleck and the Board of Trustees. I thank you so much for this opportunity. I don't do a lot of speaking. I don't have the time to do a lot of speaking, so I only do that which I think really matters, and I think Bennett really matters to the world. Bennett really matters. It is important that this institution continues to thrive and offering opportunities to women in this country and in places around the world. So that is why I'm here. And also to say to Sister Caesar, Sister Shirley Caesar, one of my legends, you are it. You are it. And I think I'm now going to take you up. I'm going to change my motto to education and Jesus is freedom. To Bob Brown, who has been a dear friend of mine and of Stedman's, who is speaking in Vancouver tonight and couldn't be here. To Bob Brown, I would say he's watching you. He is watching you. Bob Brown lost his brother last night, but because he so believes in Bennett, he is here with us and he's watching you. Thank you. I've had a great day. I've had a great day, and what I'm hoping that will happen when I leave is that the conversations that we started with the students today will continue. Because we had some very interesting talks about music and our culture and what the music and our culture is saying to young women. So it is my hope that you will continue those dialogues so that we can free ourselves. Because what I really know for sure is that life, my life and your life, is about an energy exchange. We take in energy, we give out energy. And that's why when you go to Maya Angelou's house, if you ever blessed enough to be invited to dinner at her house, watch your mouth. She does not allow anybody in her house ever to say anything that would be degrading or detrimental to any race, any sexual orientation, any color. She doesn't allow it. And the reason she doesn't allow it is because she says words have energy. And she doesn't want those nasty negative words in her house getting stuck on the walls and in her sofa. That's what she'll tell you. And so what I was saying today to the young women of Bennett is that words have energy. And when you allow yourself to be called a bitch and a hoe and dance to the beat of it, consciously and unconsciously, it says to you that you are less than. And we are less than nothing and nobody. So I understand that life is about energy. What you put in, what you give out is always returned to you. And what we give to others is always given to us. So you being here tonight, paying to be here tonight, paying significant amounts to be here tonight, means that you care about giving back some of what you've been given. And I thank you for that, because in order to complete the circle of your life, you must, I said this to the young women today, you cannot continue to move forward in your life unless you're willing to give back what you have been given. You just can't. You can't. And what I also know for sure, is that it is our responsibility, it is our charge, it is our calling, and that is why we're human beings and not squirrels or orangutans or crocodiles who live just to survive and to exist. Our lives are more than about just survival and making ends meet and just getting through another day, especially at this stage in our lives. And I certainly do stand in the place of remembering what it's like just to make ends meet, because when I was in Baltimore, 22 years old, making $22,000 a year, and Gail and I used to say, 22, can you imagine if you're 40 and you're making 40? God had a bigger dream. But I remember those days of writing a check to the electric company when it was supposed to be going to the phone company because that would give you another week to pay the bill. I know what that's like. And that's why having that experience of making practically every salary I started out making $100 a week, almost $5,000, a little over $5,000 a year. And then I made $10,000 and $15,000 and $22,000 and $25,000 and $50,000, $100,000. And so I understand what that means, just trying to make ends meet. But we are more than that. We are more than that. And we are better than that. And that is why today I am so deeply grateful for all of the blessings that abide with me now. They are blessings. I remember sitting at a dinner table with Bill Gates and some other friends, and they were all talking about how lucky they were. And I said, I am not lucky. I'm not lucky. I'm not lucky. I am where I am today because I'm just one black woman, my hand in God's hand. watching over me. And because, and Maya will tell you this, I am where I am who I am, because I don't just pray on my knees, I live on my knees. I live on my knees. I live in the space that is God's heart. And I don't make any decision, I don't do anything without consulting with the power first. And so, I stand here a child of God, and I believe that as a child and children of God, that we live to give to ourselves and to have successes in our life and to do what our souls have come to do. And then we live to take care of our families, not be used by our families, but to take care of our families and our communities and then the world. And that we must share what we know, not just what we know, but who we are. And with that intention to share comes rewards. I call it blessing the gifts that you give, using the intention. And if your intention is to lift Bennett up, that is what will happen with your money and your service. In my hotel room today was a beautiful handcrafted tea set with the little green plates, which really were going to look really perfect in my tea house. I now have a tea house. But the person who gave it to me, I don't believe, knows that I had a tea house. She owns a store here called Romancing the Home, and she gave me the tea set. I don't know who she is, but she gave me the tea set with this note. She says, I hope you will accept this gift of my little bit of energy in exchange for the immense amount of creative energy that you have given to the world. I know it's not much, but I could not let the chance to give something back to you go by. Her name was Tammy Milani. Are you here tonight? Are you here, Tammy? Hi. I got your note. I got your note. And I just love what she said. I could not let the chance to give something back go by. That's our message tonight. You know, all of my life, I have known that I was in God's hand. I've always known it. When I was 4 years old, watching my grandmother boil clothes in a big black pot. Somebody here knows what I'm talking about. Boiling clothes in a big black pot. And she was saying to me, as she had the clothespins on her apron and hanging up the clothes, she said, Oprah Gail, middle name Gail, you better watch me now, because one day you're going to have to learn how to do this for yourself. And something inside me said, no, Grandmama, I'm not. No, Grandmama. No, Grandmama, that's not going to be my life. And for many years, she used to say to me, she worked for a group of people called the Vineyards, white folks, and she cooked for them, and they would often give her things to bring home. And she used to say, Oprah Gail, what you want to do is to grow up and get yourself some good white folks like I have, because the Vineyards are so good to me. They're good white folks. And by that, I think she really meant that she could keep her dignity with them. And I'm sorry my grandmother didn't live to know that I did grow up to get some good white folks working for me. I did. I love them too. One of them's here right now. Thank you. Good white folks. So I've always known, because I grew up speaking in the church. That's why I love Maya Angelou's book, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. Because in the very first page of the book, she's doing an Easter piece. And I grew up in the church doing an Easter piece. And from that, I grew to be an orator and a speaker in school, in high school, and all the way through college. And I had some difficult times in my teens, but I always knew that because I had been blessed, I was going to have to find a way to give it back. That's ingrained in me. That's what we're supposed to do. What you have, you are supposed to give back. So when I came to Chicago, I started adopting little girls from the Cabrini Green projects, and I had all of my producers. We were going to be big sisters to these little girls. And it worked for a while. Even one of my producers had taken 2 of the young girls into her home and had them in her home for 2 years. And when they graduated from high school, they went back home, the first in their family to ever graduate from high school. And instead of their parent being happy for them, they were angry with them and resentful because they had dared to get an education. And because of that kind of thinking with all of my other girls, I eventually abandoned that program because it was difficult for me to work with girls and give values that were contradictory to the values they were given at home. But I kept trying because I knew I have to find a way to give back. So I then decided I was going to take 100 families out of the projects. That failed because I had taken some families out and the children weren't going to school, and I went to one of the homes and I said, I would like to know why Calvin isn't in school. Calvin, who was 14 years old, he said, we be trying to get up, we be trying. I said, what time do you set your alarm for? He said, we don't have no clocks, we just be trying. So that program eventually failed because I needed a full-time job to work with all of the families. And then I went to Africa. I went to Africa to give Christmas gifts to children for a program we had called Christmas Kindness. And I knew that in going, that God was going to open a door for me, that giving gifts on one occasion would not change the lives of these children. But I knew the very first day I walked into the first orphanage, 189 children there who had lost their families to AIDS. And as I said, count to three, I counted to three and they opened their presents. It was palpable joy, felt from children who'd never had a gift before. And I remembered that when I was poor and living with my mother on welfare, some nuns had come to our house and had done the same for me. And I never forgot that, so I wanted to do that for other children. And then I had a meeting with Nelson Mandela, and I said, I thought he was going to ask me for some money, so I thought I'd offer it before he was asked. And I said to him, what I want to do is not donate to your charity. What I want to do is build a school, because I think education is freedom. And Jesus, I think education is freedom. And at the time, I offered $10 million, and he said, we can build several schools with this. Well, we started the process, and now I have $40 million and counting into the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls. And it is going to be the premier, finest school on the continent of Africa. It is 52 acres. On 52 acres, we have 28 buildings. We have a gym, a meditation and yoga center, a wellness center, a library, 6 dormitories, an auditorium, a place for girls to develop their greatest selves. It has been a struggle for me because working with their government, people didn't believe. They did not believe that Black African girls deserved such goodness. They said to me from the very beginning, when I started working with their architects, they said, these girls come from huts. They come from nothing. Why do you need to do all of this? I said, I'm doing all of this because I am these girls. I am these girls. And this past summer, I'm going to Africa next week because I still have I'm choosing 7th and 8th graders. The school will house 7th through 12th graders. Our first year will just be 7th and 8th graders because we need time to get them ready for testing. And so this past summer, Gail and I were over, along with my entire foundation team, interviewing girls all over the 9 provinces of South Africa. The most rewarding, God-blessed thing I've ever done. Finding girls living in huts, barefooted, carrying 50 gallons of water a day. One girl, small little girl, carrying a 5-gallon bucket of water on her head. I tried to carry a bucket and almost broke my neck. And watching these girls who've come from nothing, most of my girls, my daughters now, have lost their families. Most of them are orphan girls. And the experience of having an education and a safe place to live will be the most extraordinary thing that has ever happened to them. When I was interviewing my first girl this summer, an 11-year-old who came from a village, lost her parents, living only with her grandmother and 4 brothers, and I said, why do you want to come to my school? And she said, because it is my tomorrow. And so that becomes the motto of our school. Education is your tomorrow. I asked another young girl, how did you hear about this school? She said, my teachers told us that you were doing a school for girls like us. I said, what kind of girl are you? She said, I'm a poor girl, ma'am. I'm a very poor girl. And I said, being poor is just a thing. It's not who you are. It's just a thing. It's just your circumstance. It is not your possibilities. And so another child said to me, why are you doing this for us? Why are you doing this for us? You're treating us like white girls. And I said to them then that I'm doing this because I was you, and I am you. I had a grandmother. I was raised by my grandmother, no running water, no electricity, just like you, and somebody gave me a chance, and I want to do the same for you. What I could have said is what Tammy said to me. I could not let the chance to give something back go by. I could not let the chance to give something back go by because so much has been given to me. I feel so blessed. I feel blessed because I came from parents who had sex one time. One time. They never married. One time. And I was the result of that one-time union. And Maya Angelou has been, you know, it's the most extraordinary thing to grow up reading somebody's books. And the first time I read I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, I couldn't imagine that there was somebody who had a life like mine. And when I read that story and saw her Easter piece, what you looking at me for didn't come to stay, only came to say, Happy Easter Day. When I read that, I thought, there's another black girl doing Easter pieces, and somebody wrote a book about her. But it was Maya, indeed. And so to be able to grow up and have somebody who I had admired, respected, and to meet them, and the very first time she invited me to her house, we were sitting on the floor in our pajamas, and she's reading Paul Laurence Dunbar to me. I thought, I literally was pinching myself, because I must be dead. It was true that I was still alive, and she has taught me great lessons. She's been my mother, my sister, my friend, and the greatest lesson I want to share with you. She said, baby, when people show you who they are, believe them. Believe them the first time. She says, and the trouble with you, baby, is they have to show you 29 times. So that has been one of the great lessons. When people show you who they are, believe you. But the greatest, I remember calling Maya, I can't remember what it was for now, Maya, but I used to call her every time the tabloids wrote something bad about me. I can't believe it. And one time I was calling because something had been said or done, and I remember being in the bathroom on the toilet seat. And I pushed it down. And I called Maya. Do you remember this? I was crying. I couldn't even get it out. I was crying. And she said, stop it now. And when Maya tells you to stop it, you better stop it. She said, stop it now. And I said, no, you don't understand. She said, I said, stop it. So I stopped, and she said, stop and say thank you. Say thank you right now. I said, but you know, say thank you right now. And I said, thank you. She said, say thank you, God. Thank you, God. Because he's put a rainbow in the clouds, and you're coming out on the other side of it, stronger, wiser, more joyful. Say thank you. That's my great lesson from Maya Angelou. She represents it all to me, Sojourner and Fannie Lou, and all those whose names made the history books, whose names we'll never know. She represents the strength of our past and the joy of our future. And I am one of those women who moves through the world understanding completely where I've come from. I don't do anything by myself. I got here because a lot of people bled for me. A lot of people gave up their lives for me, their real lives. They were never able to reach their full potential, but I can because I'm the seed of the free. I'm the seed of the free. And Maya wrote a poem that, this poem really has taught me more in my life than probably anything. Her poem is called To Our Grandmothers. She lay skin down on the moist dirt, the canebrake rustling with the whispers of leaves and loud longings of hounds and the ransack of hunters crackling the near branches. She muttered, lifting her head, a nod toward freedom. she whispered, I shall not be moved. She gathered her babies, their tears slick as oil on black faces, their young eyes canvassing that mornings of slavery madness. Her children cried out, Mama, Mama, is Master gonna sell you from us tomorrow? Yes, she said, unless you keep walking more and talking less. Yes, unless the keeper of our lives releases me from all commandments. Yes, and your lives, never mine to live, will be executed upon the killing floor of innocence. I shall not be moved. And so our people, our women people, in Virginia tobacco fields, leaning into the curve of Steinway pianos, along Arkansas roads in the red hills of Georgia, into the palms of her chained hands, she cried against calamity. She said, you have tried to destroy me, and though I perish daily, I shall not be moved. Her universe, often summarized into one black body falling finally from the tree to her feet, made her cry out each time in a new voice, saying, all my past hastens to defeat, and strangers claim the glory of my love. Iniquity has bound me to his bed, yet I must not be moved. And she heard all the names, she heard them all, swirling ribbons, those names, in the wind of history. Nigger, nigger bitch, heifer, mammy, property, creature, ape, baboon, whore, hot-tailed thing, it. She said, but my description cannot fit your tongue, for I shall not be moved. No angel stretched protecting wings above the heads of her children. Her children sprouted like young weeds, but she could not shield their growth. She sent them away, underground, overland, in coaches, shoes and shoeless. And she said to her children, when you learn, teach. When you get, give, for I shall not be moved. She stood in mid-ocean seeking dry land, and she searched God's face. The Holy Spirit upon her left leads her feet without ceasing into the camp of the righteous. She stands before the abortion clinic. These mama faces, lemon yellow we are, plum purple, honey brown, all of those faces and shoulders that I stand on today. They have grimaced and twisted down a pyramid of years. She is Sheba and Sojourner, Harriet and Zora, Mary Bethune and Angela, Annie to Zenobia, and they shall not be moved. Centered on the world stage, she sings to her loves and beloveds, saying, however I am perceived, however I am deceived, however my ignorance, however my conceits, lay aside all of your fears that I will ever be undone, for I shall not be moved. And so, the greatest lesson from that poem, standing as one, coming as 10,000. Every time I walk into a boardroom and I'm the only black face in it, the only female face in it, I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. And everything that I do in my life, my show, my magazine, my radio, my work, is about when you get, give, when you learn, teach, and do not let the chance to give something back go by.
While we're waiting to get everyone seated, we want to thank Sweet Dreams. It's wonderful music. We also want to thank the wonderful wait staff because it's like a maze getting in between tables and getting people what they want. If those that are out in the lobby area could please come in and take your seat. At this time, if I can have your attention, at this time we're going to bring back the Bennett College Choir, the most awesome, awesome choir. Put your hands together for these young ladies. They sound like angels, and we're going to get blessed with another selection. These young ladies are waiting for your attention. You can't miss this gorgeous voices up here. Thank you.
Good news, chariots are coming, good news. To Dr. Cole, our illustrious president, members of the Board of Trustees, faculty and staff, alumni, sponsors of this great event, friends and guests, good evening. I must say that what we have witnessed here tonight has had so much meaning, so much depth, so much substance. From the song from our choir reminding us of a holy and an awesome God, to being reminding that if God has his eye on the sparrow, that he must have his eye on us and Bennett College for Women. The words of Dr. Maya Angelou that reminded us how we can be rainbows in the lives of others, bringers of hope and sharers of love. Being reminded by Sister Oprah Winfrey that we must give back what we have been given. Indeed, unto whom much is given, much is required. She reminded us that we are connected to our past, and it is that which provides strength for the journey. All that has been done here tonight has so inspired me because in so many ways, what has been shared is woven into the fabric of my beloved institution. An institution that recognizes a being much higher and much more divine than ourselves, who has his hand on us, and that we have indeed come this far by faith. An institution that teaches us that we are not merely educated for ourselves, but so that we can make a difference in a world that so desperately needs our help. An institution founded by former slaves in the basement of a church, former slaves who knew that in order to be truly emancipated, in order to be truly free, they must have an education. This institution is one that I hold dear and deep to my heart and am proud to call my own. So on behalf of my fellow Bennett sisters, I say thank you. Thank you from the very depths of my heart. Thank you for sharing with us on this evening, and thank you in advance for the support that you will continue to give to Bennett College for Women. Know that as beneficiaries of this evening, we will ever stay true to our beloved institution, striving for excellence in academics, elevation of our minds, and service to all humanity. Thank you.
Sisters and brothers all, this afternoon when Miss Oprah Winfrey was in our chapel, and I searched for words that might help each of us to just touch what we had experienced. I remember saying something like this, that at each moment that we're able to take a breath, how good it is. And then every now and then, there's an experience which is breathtaking. That is what this evening has been. To be in the presence of women folk who, in the words of our Native American sisters and brothers, hold up half of the sky. Tonight, please hear us, righteous brothers who are here, at a place called Bennett College for Women. we are never, ever, ever against men. But oh, are we for women. And one of the reasons was captured in the words of a 19th century black nationalist whose name was Delaney. He said, you know, when you educate a man, you educate a man. When you educate a woman, you educate a nation. And so it is that sacred responsibility that we have at Bennett College for Women. And I'd like at this moment for those who have been the recipients of such a sterling education to present themselves. The alumni of Bennett College for Women, stand. In the work that I do nationally with United Way of America, locally with the Greensboro United Way, and locally as a member of the board of the Greater Greensboro Community Foundation, I'm driven by a simple question. It was Dr. King's question. Dr. King once said, life's most persistent question is, what are you doing for others? And tonight, I want to say to three enormous entities, thank you for doing for others. I want to say to our three gold sponsors that not from the top, not from the middle, but from the bottom of my heart, we thank you. To the American Legacy Foundation that has but a simple request, that we not let our young folk destroy their promise and their lives. To Food Lion, whose brother leader, I am proud to say, is a member of the Board of Trustees of Bennett College for Women, Rick Anicetti. I can only say you spend a lot of time feeding the folk, feeding our bodies. But when you give back the way you do, you feed our souls. And to our third gold sponsor, Price Waterhouse Coopers. Where are you, my sisters and brothers? There you are. There you are. This is not a new relationship with Bennett College for Women. Know that we treasure you and the relationship that we have built. And now I turn to each of you as we begin to bring closure on this evening, to say from a point inside of me that is real and is sincere, we do need your help. Let me tell you, we've got some amazing things. Let me ask if our faculty and staff would stand, those who are here. These are the women and the men who I want to assure you could be paid so much more than we can afford, but who give of themselves in the sacred act of education. Our students are here. You can't get 607 of them in here. There'd be no room for you. But you have watched and felt them. Our choir, our extraordinary sister president of the Student Government Association, Sherelle Barber. And our trustees who stood earlier. But you know, faculty, staff, students, alumni, and trustees doth not a college make. It takes friends. It takes friends. And though I've told it so often, I'm tempted to tell it again. Let me tell you why you need friends. Let me tell you that you can't do without friends. Let me use the words of one of my sheroes, an anthropologist, Zora Neale Hurston of the Harlem Renaissance. Zora Neale Hurston said, let me explain this to you. Trying to live without friends is like milking a bear to get cream for your morning coffee. She said it's hard to do, and if you manage it, it's hardly worth it. You are our friends. We have done with God's grace and your grit an amazing job, but we're not finished. We have a $50 million campaign to finish. We must. And though you really dug deeply just to be here tonight, some of you not only with these high sedity fancy tickets costing you a lot of money, you took an airplane, you had to buy the new outfit. That hurts. Then how could I stand here and ask you to give more? Because that may have hurt, but I want you to give until it helps to heal. And by that I mean that it hurts when a young woman wants an education and she can't have it. She doesn't have the money to get it. So I thank you for being here tonight. I thank you for receiving so warmly all that we did to bring it to you. And my final words must be words of thanks. And though I gave them this afternoon, I must say to my brother VP Arthur Affleck, you done good. And I turn to say to Wanda Moe, to Brother Danny, all in institutional advancement, felicidades. And to anyone who had anything to do with tonight and today, mazel tov. Good night. And as the folk taught me, where I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, good night, sleep tight, and don't let the bed bugs bite. One more thing. Our 3 gold sponsors put a little gift in a bag for you. Do pick up one on your way. Go home safely. And remember, life's most persistent question is, what are you doing for others? Good night.
Let us all bow together in prayer. Blessed and holy God, our Creator, our Redeemer, our Sustainer, and our friend, great and marvelous are all your works. Truly, you are the one who makes all things beautiful in your time. You honored us with your presence, graced us with your mercy, enlivened our spirits, and nourished us through this fellowship. We pray you were pleased with all that has been said, all that has been accomplished, and all the intent of our hearts. Thank you for the fullness of this day and its various meanings to each of us. May we be found faithful in our stewardship of your resources entrusted to our care. Now to you, O God, who can do anything but fail, the one who is absolutely able to do more than we can think or even ask. To you be glory and praise and majesty and power in this life and the life to come. Amen. We'd like to thank everyone for coming. Please drive home safely, and good night.